Beetlejuice Beetlejuice is directed by Tim Burton and stars Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder, and Catherine O'Hara, all returning to their roles from the 1988 classic, and follows an adult Lydia that is now the host of a supernatural talk show by the name of Ghost House. When she gets informed of a family tragedy, she must return to her childhood home in Winter River with her daughter Astrid. Accompanying Lydia is Rory, her manager and boyfriend, who wants to propose to Lydia abruptly. Astrid is estranged from her mother and believes that all of her clairvoyant abilities are fraudulent. Yes, I watched the original Beetlejuice when I was a child, so it may be difficult for me to separate my nostalgia, but I'm going to try my best. Michael Keaton slips back into the role of Beetlejuice with no problem, and he feels like the same guy we all knew and loved. Winona Ryder coming back as Lydia is great, but I was super happy to see Catherine O'Hara return as Delia. She was always such a mysterious character to me because she's some kind of hopeless artist that is also a materialist. Her comedic way of problem solving has always been as funny to me as anything that Beetlejuice has done, so I was pleased to see her return to the role. The film does explain why the Maitland family, played by Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin, isn't in this film, but it is one throwaway line, and I don't know if I enjoyed that because they grew a close bond with Lydia, so I wish that could have been better explained, but I feel Tim Burton wanted to tell a story completely removed from those two characters, and he does. The visual look of the film is just as amazing as the original film. I love the dead people look in the afterlife, and the set design, lighting, and special effects help re-invoke that feeling of the original where it basically felt like the world they were living in was some kind of a fairy tale land. Danny Elfman returns as the composer for this movie, and he does yet another wonderful job. There's something about Elfman's music that has some kind of sinister fairy tale with a sweet sense of humor to it that has always resonated with me, and I'm sure many other people. He has done so much wonderful work for more than just Tim Burton. He did Spider Man for Sam Raimi, Dick Tracy for Warren Beatty, and yes, he did the 50 Shades trilogy. Not everything he's done has been amazing, but I think he's had more great soundtracks than not, and I think he doesn't get enough love. So I wanted to make sure to praise the score by Danny Elfman. Jenna Ortega and Justin Theroux are also in this film, as is Willem Dafoe and Monica Bellucci, but I can't talk about Monica Bellucci without thinking about this famous line.
I had another Monica Bellucci dream.
She plays a character named Dolores who is after Beetlejuice, but her inclusion is one of my biggest issues with the movie. There are too many characters. Obviously, Burton didn't want to just cater to everyone's nostalgia by just having the principals returning and no one else, so I understand why there are new characters in this movie, but they suffer from one of the biggest problems that I have with Tim Burton's films. The new characters are only lightly sketched and only have archetypes that fit into the counterculture that he has worked in for his entire career. But that's the appeal of Tim Burton to me, showing these people from darker areas that most films don't want to show. But when you fit them into cliche characterizations, it becomes hard to either root for or dislike the characters. I had the same issue with the Oogie Boogie from Nightmare Before Christmas. Let me be clear, I love that movie. He's great. He's a great character, but he just kind of shows up and is all of a sudden a bad guy, do bad guy things kind of thing. And I feel that is the kind of the case with many of the new characters, except for Willem Dafoe. He is magnificent in this movie. I won't spoil what his character is doing, but I will say that he is a nod to certain genres of movies, and I appreciated that. Astrid, Jenna Ortega's character, is your typical rebellious teenager. But isn't she like in her early 20s or something? I guess after watching the latest Scream movies, it's hard for me to envision her in high school or something. But she dislikes her mom and blames her for a variety of things that I won't get into. But let's just say that I've seen her characterization in films going all the way back to the 1970s. The reason that Lydia worked so well as a gothic teenager is because she was smarter than all of the other characters, and you rooted for her to succeed in solving the problem with the Maitland family. Astrid is just involved in a subplot involving another boy and her sort of hinted at relationship with her dad, but that's it. She doesn't really have an arc except for being the one that facilitates most of the problems in the movie. Like she's the thing that drives the plot forward. But that's kind of it. I like Jenna Ortega in the two most recent Scream films and X by Ty West, but here I feel the character is just there to be plot moving. My two favorite new characters were a character named Bob. He is great. And also Willem Dafoe. The rest of the characters seemed either unnecessary or making really dumb decisions for the service of the plot, and I didn't care much for many of them. There are multiple antagonists in this movie, and I don't care for any of them because the script doesn't allow me to. There is one great cameo early in the film that I really enjoyed, but I'm not going to really give too much detail. I also really love a scene where someone is singing the song Right Here Waiting by Richard Marx. That's probably my favorite scene in the movie. It's really good. Winona Ryder is still as amazing as Lydia as she's always been. I find it very funny that she spends a great amount of the movie with a "what did I just see" look on her face. It's pretty funny. Funnily, the person I saw this with hated her hair bangs, but I said it was in line with the character, and I think it is. Overall, I don't view this as an inferior sequel because I watched the original Beetlejuice 2 days ago before watching this movie, and it has similar issues with lack of characterization. So I say that it is a faithful sequel that is visually striking to look at, but has the characters do certain things that may have you scratching your head, but with a wonderful look and amazing soundtrack and great performances from the returning characters. And two of the new ones help push this movie into the recommended side for me. I give Beetlejuice 3 stars out of 4. Check it out. It's a good sequel that does cater to nostalgia, but it tries to tell a slightly original story compared to the first one, and I think it mostly succeeds on a macro level. It's just the micro level that has me scratching my head a little. Thanks so much for watching. What did you think of the new Beetlejuice? Please let me know in the comments. We also review horror films, silent films, and much more. So if you like this, please like and subscribe, and until next time, I am Ghost.